Sabu sir, continue.
Okay, good evening. Welcome all.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Good morning.
So,
Thanks.
Yes. So today we are celebrating one of our most precious Onam. It's our seasonal holiday in Kerala. So generally we are waiting for Maveli. He's a great ruler. But today we are really happy with Dr. Matt Person. He's a CEO of EQ for Peace. And moreover, he is working with emotional intelligence. We know very much aware of IQ, intelligence coefficient. But he explains for the last 35 years that EQ is more important than IQ. IQ is something which is there inherently, but EQ we want to develop. So if you are not developing EQ, our life will be spoiled. So it is the travel of my dear Matt Pearson. He is last 35 years he is working for emotional intelligence. He has an NGO called EQ for Peace. He is working in USA, California. For the last 35 years, he is talking about EQ, and this emotional quotient is much more important, and he is in a basis to spread everything dealing with this EQ. So today I welcome dear doctor to this matinee free webinar, especially on this Onam celebration day. With all your presence, I welcome you and thank you, sir.
Well, thank you. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate the introduction. Two things real quick is that I'm not doctor, I'm Mr. and I don't have anywhere near as much education as you guys, but I have a fair amount of experience with this. So I'm going to share that with you. If it's maybe not all research based, but it's close, and there's so much research these days. And the other thing is that I do not think that EQ is more important than IQ. I think we're trying to balance them. We're trying to balance them. Our IQ is super important, and I'm very glad that we're very good at it. And our education system is based on our left brain thinking and our intelligence. And if it wasn't for a lot of really good intelligence, we'd be in big trouble. All I'm saying is that we don't know much about our right brain or about our EQ. So if IQ's up here, we need to kind of bring our EQ up to match it because it's way down here. So, but IQ is still a good thing. If it wasn't for medical technology, I would not be here having this conversation with you. So I'm a big fan of IQ. Save my fanny a couple times, or not a couple times, every day. So anyway, so I'm big on EQ. We're talking EQ today. So, and it's the Q is a quotient, which means it's a measurement of it. Measurement of motions is kind of mushy in itself. I guess it's important. It is. I mean, it's important to figure out where you're at and what's possibilities and how you fit in with everybody else. But it's not as important as learning how to use them. It's not as important as the skills and the emotional, the intelligence part of it, being smart about it, being wise about it, being powerful with your emotions, living with them, understanding them, understanding yourself, understanding others, creating great relationships, all that kind of stuff. A lot more important than numbers, in my opinion. So we only have an hour now, not less than that, and I've got way too many slides as usual. So I'm going to go fast. Feel free to jump into the chat and let me know what you're thinking, or if you have questions, that kind of thing. And I'll try to get as much information as I can to you because I got way too much. So we'll deal with that. Anyway, so this is about emotional intelligence. I have a nonprofit we started a couple years ago called EQ for Peace worldwide. What we're doing is trying to bring emotional intelligence to people because people don't know about their emotions. They don't know about their emotions, and that's not a good thing. That is a really, really bad thing. It turns out that all kinds of society problems are because people don't have any idea how to deal with their thoughts and their emotions. What's going on inside of them, their inner world is a mess. And as you probably know, like some of the bad thing, domestic violence, child abuse, divorce, and suicide is skyrocketing in Asia and in the United States both. And a lot to do with, in my opinion, again, it's hard to prove that, but it sure seems like that's the ultimate emotional choice, is about whether you want to be here or not. And if you don't know how to deal with you, then you're in trouble. We're getting stuck in lockdown and such like that, and people are left in a room by themselves with their thoughts and their emotions, and that's it. And it's not going well. Check it out. It's not going well. So because we don't know, we don't know. And we don't know that people don't know that they don't know. So they're not looking for it. And that's a problem. So we're like, hey, this is really important. That's what I'm doing. And a lot of other people now too are like, this is really, really important for all kinds of areas of our lives. So that's just the first slide. I'm in trouble, right? So this is about emotions. So I'd like for you guys to be involved if you could. I open up the chat. Please go in there. And you ready for this? We're talking about emotions, right? So what is it? Let's get started. What are you feeling right now? What are you feeling? Check it out. Look in your body, close your eyes if you need to, but what are you feeling? See if you can identify it. It's a really important part of this whole thing. Awareness is step one. So would you mind sharing in the chat just one or a couple of words of what are you feeling right now? Here's a cheat sheet if you want some help with some words. Anybody? I know you're feeling
really
something.
Happy, sir. Really happy, sir. Really happy.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Great. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else happy? Is anybody not happy? Or you can feel multiple things at the same time? It's pretty cool. Glad. Okay, good.
We are in a comfortable zone, sir, now.
We are enjoying.
Comfortable?
We are enjoying.
Oh, nice. Okay, if you want to say it out loud, that's fine too. I don't care if we do it in the chat. Great,
So
you
there
guys.
is a problem, sir. Just Corona is the only problem that we are facing right now. In Kerala, in India, Kerala is the most highest patients, basically. That's the only problem.
Okay. So what feeling comes from that? Okay, we've got this problem. So what's the feeling? Would you say afraid, fear? A lot of fear, right? It's life or death stuff, right?
Yes.
Fear about future, sir. Fear about future, the coming generation.
Yeah. Right on. Yep. And fear for ourselves and fear for others. That's wild, huh? And then and other people became our enemy. Just by being around other people becomes our enemy. That makes everybody. That's just awful. I mean, it's fear everywhere, and people are angry about what's happening. They're angry about having to be locked down, and they get mad at the government and that kind of thing. You get mad at the disease. A lot of sadness. There's a lot going on now where people are not having the life that they thought they were going to have, and limiting our choices. And it's ugly. There's a lot of stuff going on. So again, awareness is the first thing. So being aware of what you're feeling. You can't make choices based on stuff we're not aware of. So awareness is always first. Intelligence, understand different behaviors in different situations, right? With different behaviors, but as I will talk about in a minute, the behaviors are downstream a little bit. First, before the behaviors comes thought, feelings, action, or decision. Thought, a feeling, and decision all came before you did the behavior. So we're going to talk about the difference because that's really important. And what is really important to bring up, like I said, we're pretty good at our IQ, our left brain IQ. We're not so good at our EQ. And if we can give ourselves permission to notice that our emotions really do matter more than we think they do. We're taught, and our parents pushed them down, and we don't talk about them, and we don't give them much credibility. But you know what? They matter a lot, and they matter to our life. They matter to us. They matter to others. They matter to relationships. They matter. So, so that's one of my big things here, is just to take your emotion, make them more important in your life than you thought they were. All right. For a while, at least try it, see how it goes. Okay. So we're talking about the goal is peace. The goal is peace, right? We can be smart about our emotions. That's cool. But why? Well, the point is to get to peace. So, we have found that emotional intelligence can teach us how to be peaceful on the inside, inner peace, just us alone. Cool, huh? It's between us, interpersonal peace between you and I. We can get along, we can negotiate, we can talk, we can find positives, we can accept each other, we can love each other, we can listen to each other. So we can have interpersonal peace between us, and these are learnable, teachable skills, right? And we can have social peace among us, all of us, more than a bunch of us, a group of us. That's what we're doing right now. We're being very peaceful in this room right now, and it's working, and we're doing it. So this is it. So with inner peace and interpersonal peace and social peace, we're hoping that if we can teach that to enough people, that someday maybe we can have big peace, big global peace. And that's what our nonprofit is about. So let's talk about inner peace to start with. This is all the basis of this whole thing. So what is it? You guys go ahead and share. What is it? What is it to you? How do you know you're feeling it? What is it? Anybody want to say for them?
What is inner peace is our consciousness.
Okay, that's awareness, but it could be, you could be conscious of not being peaceful, right? You could be conscious of being really not peaceful.
You should be
conscious of it.
away from stress. You should be away from stress. That is inner peace.
Away from what? I'm sorry?
Stress.
Stress.
S-T-R-E-S-S. Stress.
Okay.
You should not be troubled by any external force.
Ooh, nice. Not be troubled. I'm going to make a good point about that. So yes, I totally agree. Not being troubled by what's happening outside of us. We're just calm on the inside, right? Beautiful. Anybody else? One more? Okay. So I can't tell you what peace is for you. I can tell you about emotional intelligence, how it works, kind of, but I can't. Inner peace is very, very personal, and it's all about you. We did a workshop on this just the other day only on inner peace, and it was pretty cool. We got deep into it, but again, I can't tell you what inner peace is to you. Only you know that to you. It's so we're trying to get there. So if you feel like it, rate yourself on your inner peace. There's a different points of view. You could be right this minute, you can be very peaceful because we're going to be here for the next few minutes, and we're together and everything's fine, probably right now, just fine right now. So that's specific. Or in general, how peaceful do you feel? And one of our emotional intelligence skills is being able to adjust our point of view. And that's POV, point of view. And that is to be able to be specific or a little more general or quite a bit more general. And it changes. You'd be surprised how much it changes things based on how you look at things. So based on what was just said a few minutes ago, exactly, inner peace begins the moment you choose not to allow another person or event to control your emotions. Okay. You're in charge. And that's a lot of why I jump up and down also about EQ, is because it puts us in charge of our life. And I like that. I like that. I hate to be a control freak, but I am in that department. I want to be in charge of me. I want to be in charge of what I think and what I feel. And EQ gives me that, and I like it. I like it. And I highly recommend it. Other people seem to like it too. So quick little side note, this link down the bottom on the slide is a Facebook group that I help manage. It's called Love EI, if that permalink is for that one. Anyway, it is specifically on emotional intelligence, 265,000 people in there, something like that. One of the most active groups I've ever seen on Facebook. So go check it out. It's really cool. There's an incredible amount of posts, and there's an incredible amount of wisdom there, and people sharing and being real, which I really like about it. They don't just flippant kind of, they're talking about real stuff there, and I like that. I like that a lot. So go check that out. And then I posted this in that group. That's the permalink right there, and got like 1,000 people liked it and comments and all kinds of stuff. People like this one. So it's a good one. It is very true too. It's if I can be in charge of me, then it doesn't matter all that much what is going on outside, no matter what's happening outside. And there's some not good things happening outside, as we know. Still, you are in charge of you. That's good news, in my opinion. Inner peace is the greatest and most valuable treasure you can discover. Yeah, well, hard to argue with. Okay, this is my mentor, Doc Downing. He said, inner peace is not a goal, but a consequence. Check that out. You got to think about that a little bit. It's not somewhere you get to and then you're like, okay, got it. Right? It's not how that works. How it works is it's a consequence. If you can manage your emotions, if you can be in charge of what's going on inside of you, then you can create peace. And it can be what's the word, when it floats away, it can go really quickly and come back really quickly, which is nice, but it's a consequence of how we handle ourselves, actually. So let's talk about emotional intelligence. EQ is about bottom line, being smarter with our thoughts and our feelings, just being smarter about our insides. It's about being the intelligence part is, intelligence part, I love this part of it, is that it is free, completely, totally, 100% free inside of each of us. We have thoughts, we have feelings, we just don't know how to deal with them. Once we learn how to deal with them, we're like, okay, okay, I got that. Now it's mine. It's the study of ourselves. We're kind of, like I said, about the point of view, backing up a little bit. This one, is that the one you wanted? I got distracted, sorry. Oh, this is a meta study. So what we're doing is looking at ourselves, right? And awareness, again, is the first step. So we are studying ourselves. It's you studying you. So I'm selling you to you, if you like. It's the only thing I'm selling. And we're thinking about what we're thinking about, and we're feeling about what we're feeling about. That's meta cognition, meta emotion. I'm not sure that's even a word. I think I made it up, but it's feeling about what you feel and thinking about what you think. Yeah. It's learning how to deal with our inner world. It's just learning about ourselves and learning how others work. And I think it's fascinating. Personally, I love to see how people work. I love to see how I work and how I don't work so I can do it better. We can think better thoughts. We can believe better beliefs. We can feel better feelings. We can make better decisions. We can take better actions. We can get better results and ultimately have a better life, all no charge, just by studying ourselves a little bit. So to me, that's great. Choices, freedom, personal power. We can increase our love. We can increase our intimacy. We can open our heart or not. That's one of the big EQ skills. We can open our heart or not, and we can be as loving as we want to be and as we can be. We can, I don't know that I didn't even put the slide in there, which I'm disappointed, but if we can handle our negative emotions, if we can handle our big negative emotions, then there just isn't that much life can throw at us that we cannot handle. And that allows us the freedom and the power to open up and to be more powerful and to be more I don't know, louder. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean? Be yourself more, express yourself better, reach out to people, that kind of thing. Because if things don't go well, we can handle it. We can handle it. And so we can risk more. We can be more. My opinion, it's fantastic. If you want to lead, you better learn about your emotions. You better learn about your emotions, because they'll be there. They're going to be important, and they're important to everyone else as well. Self-esteem, purpose of living, teamwork, relationships, culture, all those, again, big benefits of dealing with your emotions, as well as the bottom part, which one of my pets is mental health. I call it positive mental health, because emotions, if we can deal with our emotions, like I said, we can release a lot of our pain. We can heal stuff from the past. We don't have to have belief systems that stop us, and stuff that our parents did to us and all that kind of thing, and trauma that happened in our lives. We can move a lot of that stuff out of the way once we deal with it, and go on cleaner, clearer, more powerful, more happier, more lighter, all that. It's good stuff. So this is one of the main, there's different theories on emotional intelligence. This is one of the more popular ones from Daniel Goleman and from Castle, which is one of the bigger organizations in the United States that is developing standards and steps on how to do emotional intelligence, because we didn't know. Our parents didn't teach us because they didn't know. Our teachers didn't teach us because they couldn't, and they didn't know either. And so now we're having to figure it out on our own. We're having to figure this out. And now that we're starting to figure some of this stuff out, we're like, okay, so what do we do? How do we do this? And so we're trying to figure that out. It's a pretty new industry, new concept. And wow, it is just making amazing impact. I saw an article yesterday on the number of masters and PhD theses that are on emotional intelligence. It's just went up like that. Oh, and has been for almost 10 years now. It's one of the most popular subjects for papers, which is because it's fascinating, and it's pretty easy to watch it happen, and you can see results, and you can have a conclusion that go, oh yeah, that definitely helped. It definitely helped. So self-awareness first, right? Awareness first. Awareness says, and so awareness of me first. So the better I know me, the better I can understand and accept and deal with others. So awareness first, self-awareness first, in fact, and then comes self-management, which is different. Just because I know about me doesn't mean I handle me very well, right? Self-management is more about actions. Self-awareness is more about being aware of our thoughts and feelings and making good decisions. Management's more about the actions and what we do with ourselves. So note the difference, because it's really important that we differentiate between that was a thought and that's an action. They're very different. It's what you do about a problem, and what do you do with a problem? Check that out. There's distinctions. I like distinctions in emotional intelligence. I got a ton of them listed. What do you do about a problem? Okay, here's a problem. What am I going to do about it? Right? That's an action. How am I going to change it? What am I going to do to fix it? What am I going to do to eliminate it? That kind of thing. What am I going to do? Those are actions. What am I going to do with it, however, is a whole different study. And that's EQ, because it is, what am I going to do with my thoughts about it? And what am I going to do with my feelings about it? That's different than what are you going to do about the problem. So you get the idea. So, back to this one. Sorry. Me, being aware of me, managing me, being aware of you, which is social awareness, not managing you, but managing my relationship with you. Those are relationship skills. So I have power to manage my side of our relationship. Okay, so it's basically me, and me. Because that's all I can control. I can't control everybody else. I can only control me. And so that's what all these are, basically. But anyway, you get the idea. One's about me and one's about you. And then the last one, responsible decision making, that's back to me again, but it's about using both sides of our brain. And the way that works is, real simply, is left brain is logic, right? So when I'm making a decision, does it make sense? Does it make sense for me to decide this, to do this? And we're using both sides of our brain, our emotions too. So does it make sense? And does it feel good? Does it feel right? Do I intuitively and culturally and your values and who you are, does it feel right? And does it make sense? So if you can balance those two, you can make really good decisions. If they get skewed off, like something feels really good, but it doesn't make any sense, probably not a good idea. Probably don't do it, right? Or vice versa, it makes perfect sense to do it, but man, that doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. I don't know if you should do that one either. So try to balance them is the point of that. And here, this guy is the point of a lot of this, which is safety, 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 safety. We are doing at our nonprofit, EQ, like I said, doesn't ever stop. We never stop thinking. We never stop feeling, even when we're sleeping. And so we better get good at them. We better get good at them. And so therefore, they affect us at work. They affect us at home. They affect us at school. They affect us every minute of every day. And right, so being aware of that means EQ never stops. So we've got to be aware of what's happening and manage ourselves well. And in school, work, and home, the big three, safety, safety, safety is the key to the whole thing. If you can be safe to you, if you can be safe, emotionally safe to others, then you can have better relationships with them. They will certainly appreciate it. They can then be themselves more, which is pretty cool. And it turns out, this is pretty wild, is that even at work, Google just did a massive study internally. You know how big Google is, a humongous company. And they went through and they said, how do their best teams function? How do their best teams function? What's the biggest thing that they can add to their teams to make them function the best? And you know what it is? It was surprising, huh? Emotional safety. Isn't that wild? I was like, wow, this is great. Number one thing, what it is that people on the team feel, not think, but feel like they belong, they matter, that they can express themselves, that they can brainstorm and have ideas that even if they're kind of a bizarre idea, because they're safe, they can even fail. They can even make mistakes on the team and go, okay, that didn't go very well. Let's not do that again. Okay. But you're okay. Just don't do that action anymore. Let's not do that anymore. You are okay. And that's another distinction, which I don't think I have in here, but it should be, is the difference between judging a behavior versus judging the person, right? You can say, I don't like that behavior. You're fine. I love you. I want to keep my relationship with you. You're good, but don't do that behavior ever again. You can do that at the same time. You can do anger. You can do boundaries. You can do things that are acceptable with love. That's emotional intelligence too. So again, safety, safety, safety. Hopefully I'll say that again, but it's really super important. And it starts with your ability to make emotions safe to you, inside of you, which means that you need to probably take some judgments off of some of the emotions that you have, that we were taught and encouraged to judge over time, and make them okay inside. If I can be okay with me, I can be okay with you, probably. So again, respect for self and others, acceptance. You can accept other people, what's going on for them, and that they have thoughts and feelings too, and still not approve of them. You can not approve of behaviors and accept. So acceptance is a big deal here. And like I said, feelings matter a lot. So can EQ lead to inner peace? Can it? What do you think? I'm going to stop for a second. Can it? Do you think you can increase your inner peace by managing your thoughts and feelings and emotions? Is there a connection?
Yes, sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yep.
It is there.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, it's a yes or no question. So yes. Right. And I certainly think so. Like I said, EQ is the goal, are the tools. We learn emotional intelligence for the tools to get to peace, to get to the consequence of peace. So that's the goal there. We're studying about ourselves how to deal with our inner world, know more about yourself, know more about EQ, know more about other people. So Aristotle, this is a good one. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. I don't know, that's a little bit severe, but you get the idea, is that we need to educate ourselves emotionally as well as intellectually. Basically, we have thoughts, feelings, actions. So I wanted to bring up down here at the bottom is a link to 6seconds.org without the squiggly, 6seconds.org. This is one of theirs. They're the largest EQ trainer in the world. Highly recommend their stuff and their site. They have a lot of really good information. They have assessments. They have classes, lots and lots and lots of classes, certifications, from just understanding yourself up to being an emotional intelligence coach and leader and teacher, etc. So check out 6seconds.org. So they're saying think, feel, act, right? Your thoughts, your feelings, your action, your body. So you got your mind, heart, body. They also call it head, heart, hand. Is a cool way to put it. That's all we actually have control over mostly in our life. And luckily, that's all we need, actually. Well, mostly. Also, in the same vein, this is about CBT therapies, one of the most popular therapeutic modalities, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. And this is the cognitive triangle, they call it: thought, emotion, behavior. Change one, they all three change. But note that they're different. Note that they're different. When you have thoughts, you got to distinguish those from when you have feelings, and you allow both of them, but they're different. And then you actually, I think there's a step missing here personally. If I'm going back one, think, feel, act. Well, what did you do before you acted? You decided, right? You decided. So actually, I'm going to skip down a little bit to this slide here, because this is important. So stuff happens outside of us. Stuff happens outside of us. We then have a thought and a feeling about what happened outside of us. And guess what? Now it's yours. Now it's a thought and feeling inside of you. Now, whatever happened out there, it already happened, and it's out there, and they are probably gone, and they may or may not give a darn if what you think and feel. It's now yours. If you have a thought and you have a feeling about what happened, it's now yours. So you brought it inside. So here comes the steps. First, awareness. Oh, look, I'm thinking this, or I'm feeling this. That's it. Awareness. Acceptance. I'm thinking this or I'm feeling this. It's not much difference, but a lot of times we fight stuff. A lot of times we deny stuff. A lot of times we minimize stuff. A lot of times we stop things inside, and we don't want to, like, it didn't happen, right? That's not a great idea. I'd suggest that we become aware of things and accept them. It takes this long, bam, the speed of thought. Or you can fight it for as long as you want to. But two of the magical steps to EQ, in my opinion, are awareness and then acceptance. We then evaluate what happened. Okay, well, I just had this thought. Do I like that thought? Is that thought working for me? Is this a good thought? And you can say, that was not a good thought, dude. You're talking to yourself. I don't like that thought. I don't want that thought. I'm not going to pay any attention to that thought. Here's the thought I want to have. Here's the thought I want to have, and we can replace our thoughts, and we can train ourselves to think differently, and we can make habits out of our new thoughts, our more positive thoughts, our more powerful thoughts, our more interesting thoughts, our wiser thoughts, our deeper thoughts. We can pay attention to those and let some of the other ones they're just thoughts. They just stuff, like some people say, it's like waves in the ocean. They just keep coming. They just keep coming. We have thoughts. We just keep coming. But we get to decide which ones we care about, which ones we surf, which ones we want to hang on to. The rest of them, we just gotta let them go on by. They're just a thought. It's just a feeling. The biggest thing about that one is that a lot of times nowadays, people are, like I said, are getting left with their thoughts alone, with their thoughts and feelings. They have a bad feeling and they go, oh man, now I'm going to have that feeling for the rest of my life. It's such a huge feeling. I don't know what to do with it. I don't understand it. I know it's awful. It feels terrible and I can't do anything about it. Well, I can't live this way. I won't live this way. It's actually, I can't live this way. They tell themselves, and boom, and they end it. And I'm saying, it's just a thought. It's just a feeling. It's okay. It's okay. It's going to pass. And you're not going to live like this forever. And there are options, and there are people you can reach out to. And there are things you can do with those thoughts and feelings. You don't have to get stuck with them by yourself, because people feel very alone and very disconnected. And that's a bad thing. Us humans, that's a bad thing for us humans. It does not work well for us. We're social creatures. And so this is very cool that we're doing this right now. We got a room full of people doing the same thing at the same time, and we're connected, and it feels cool. It feels great, I think. So anyway, back to it. Awareness, acceptance, evaluate. Okay, yeah. Decide. All right. So now I can take an action on that thought. I can take an action on that feeling, or not. I get to decide. And that is the beautiful part of it. I get to decide. That puts who in charge of my life? Me, right? And so what I decide to do and decide to not do, as you're probably aware, with strong feelings, sometimes deciding not to do anything is a really good idea. Really, just keep your mouth shut, zip it, and keep your mouth shut. But you decided. That's the good thing. You decided. So that puts you in charge of you. Again, control freak here. It puts you in charge of you. And of course, your set of behaviors and actions that you decide to do and be becomes your life. That's going to end up being your life, the results that you get. So this is another 6 seconds one. It's important to the whole thing is what we do. This is again, action-based, what we do, how we do it, and why we do it, which is emotion and feeling based. So the three components of what we do is what, how, and why. And we get to choose all those things. EQ gives us choices. And that is a beautiful thing. Here's one of my favorite quotes. Dr. Frankl was in concentration camps in World War II, and he watched people and watched which ones made it, which ones didn't. And he realized that check this out, I'm going to read this, between stimulus and response, there's a space, which means stimulus is outside, probably something happened, and response, which is inside, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Actually, it's in our choice. We have choices. EQ gives us choices. We get to choose wisely once we learn some emotional intelligence. And it's the key, in my opinion, hard to prove, I'm sure, but the key to happiness. It's a key to sanity. It's a key to success. As our choices, what we decide to do with ourselves and what we decide to do with our internal world. So it all starts with thoughts. We have a thought. If we think we're good, if we think we're safe, we're going to feel good. We're going to have good feelings. If we think we're unsafe, we're going to have not so good feelings, right? So it's all based on our thoughts. We watch our thoughts. We can adjust our thoughts. We can train ourselves to do different thoughts. It gives us, again, power and control. The greatest discovery of our generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitude of mind. As you think, so shall you be. In other words, you're in charge of your thoughts. Here's a fun slide on left brain, right brain thing, cognitive, sequential, left brain, logical, science-based, reason, analytical side of our brain. Good stuff. That's what we learn in school. That's what everybody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about the other side. I want to talk about the right? It's much safer. But there's another side to our brain, and here is a brain. A real brain in the lady's hands. It's wild. And it's very clearly left and right brain. Of course, they did determine that scientifically some of our emotions and some of this stuff happens in the middle part right here, right in the middle, in the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex and all that. So it's not clearly left and right brain, but you get the idea. It's good enough to figure out that what we're good about our logic, we're not so good about our feelings, our passion, our emotions, our creativity. It's all in our right brain. And we can get better at those. We can get a lot better at those. Here's this guy. good IQ, not so good EQ, and I'm saying, all right, come on, let's get our EQ up a little bit so we can fly, so we can be balanced, so we can soar. All right, that's these guys here. Let's see what else. With EQ, we be in control of our life. No matter what happens outside, we have the power to control and manage what happens inside, like this. Our inner worlds is our thoughts and our feelings. Our outer becomes our actions and our results. And they are different. What do we do about something? What do we do with it? Those are different. And they are it matters. It matters inside of you, which one you do. I guess I don't have very much more time, and I only have a few more slides, like a lot of more slides. So this is, you can argue about this, and there are differing opinions about this, that the thoughts happen first and the feelings happen afterward. Some people think it's the other way around. Physical feelings clearly happen first. Your physical feelings happen first, but what happens, the way to manage ourselves is, in my opinion, and this is what we've been teaching for 35 years, is that events happen outside. We then perceive the event. We put some meaning on it. What does that mean? It might not mean anything about me, but it might mean a lot about me and who I am and what I'm about, and what does that matter to me? That's a thought. We then have a feeling. Our thoughts and our feelings become our behaviors. Here is a worksheet. I will be happy to give Dr. Alam my PowerPoint after this. You can use this worksheet if you want to. What happened? Stuff happens in our lives. What do we decide about that? And these are huge, I call them their belief systems, which is BS, good acronym, right? We decide big generalizations usually as a child, and a lot of times we end up living on those forever and unconsciously, which is not cool. And we end up making decisions and having feelings based on stuff we decided as a 5-year-old, and it still affects us. So, but we can adjust that. We can change those. And so this worksheet is about that. Here is the worksheet filled in. Also, this was me. Some of my stuff that happened to me in my life, and I kind of worked it through. And then the bottom part of the sheet is how to unwork it, how to change it. So if you want to dig into that, feel free. So breathe. Okay, so our EQ is also about purposefully being positive. All right, we can be miserable, we can be happy anytime we want, all day, every day, but we choose to be more positive. I do. I don't know. Some people don't, but I do. So I call that purposeful positivity. I'm thinking about it. I make it happen. I get to decide. I'm aware and accept my choices, and I choose this one. I choose a good one. I realize I have lousy feelings or lousy thoughts going on. I'm not going to choose those. I'm going to choose the better ones. And sometimes I have to deal with the emotions around those, but sometimes I don't. But I can just choose positives. Exaggerate enthusiasm. As you can see, that's one of my things because it's fun. And exercising optimism, because you can be pessimistic if you want to, and you may be even right. And you can still be optimistic about some things. Find some things to be optimistic about. There are some you might have to look a little bit, I'm afraid, nowadays, but it's there. They're there. This is really important. Communication skills, emotional intelligence, communication skills start with I. Like I said, we have control over ourselves, and that's about it. Sometimes that's about it. So when I'm communicating, I can't tell you about you. I can only tell you about me. So I suggest, or I think, I feel, I want, I expect, I have a judgment about, I would like this, I would not like this, I am okay with this, I will accept this, I will not accept this. I. It feels very self-centered, but when you're communicating, sometimes that's all you know. You don't know you can ask, and they may or may not know, and they may or not give you an answer. But what you do know with awareness and acceptance is about you. about you. And so if you can be responsible for your own self and be responsible in your communications, starting with I, then you can, we found that it's much better for relationships. So I should have put this earlier with the meanings thing, but we do not react to people, events, or words. We do not react to what's happening. We only react to what it means to us, right? If someone's, I'm trying to think of an example right now. If someone's walking by and they're just walk on by, doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know them. They walk on by. Doesn't make any difference. But let's say that person that's walking on by is part of your family, and that person is leaving you, rejecting you, and going away from you. Now I got a whole different deal about it. Same thing, same event. Somebody's walking by, right? But what it means to me is a whole different deal. And of course, that's going to bring up different feelings, and it's going to cause a bunch of commotion inside of me. Not cause, I shouldn't say, because I also contend that no one has ever made you angry. No one has ever hurt your feelings. Nobody makes you angry. You make you angry. In fact, your thoughts make you angry. More specifically, your angry thoughts make you feel angry, not them. They didn't do it to me. It's not the government. It's not the disease. It's not anything out there. It's not my wife. It's not the kids. It's not them. It's me. I saw this. I put my meaning on it, and therefore I reacted to it. And that's really, really good news, because that means that I can shift it if I don't like it. If that didn't work for me, I can shift it. And that shift, I call it spin it to win it, which I enjoy. Spin it to win it. It gives us power and control. So we react to what things mean to us and about us, and we chose the meanings. We choose the meanings. That's really good news. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them. That's from 2,000 years ago, right? Very, very true, and gives us control. Be careful of shoulds. We have shoulds in our head, and a lot of times we don't, we're not aware of them. Become aware of them. Awareness, acceptance, action. Become aware that should. Our parents, maybe our society said we should do this, we should do that. Do you agree? Do you agree? Are you even aware that you have that should in your head? And then you can decide whether you want to do something about it or not, because it's maybe you don't agree. Maybe it's not your should, it's theirs, but not yours. So be careful of shoulds. Be careful of generalities. I like this. It's a joke. All generalities are wrong. Get it? Anyway, there a lot of times, if I'm back on the meaning thing back here on this worksheet, for me, when people left me when I was little and stuff like that, when things happened growing up, I decided as a kid that I was unlovable. I decided that people didn't want to be around me. I decided that I was less than and not great, and so people didn't want to be around me. And that's a big generalization, obviously, about me and about my world. And so what turns out to be more better, that's good, more useful, is to try to be as specific as you can, which means, like in that case, I decided they don't want to be around me. The reality was that my dad was in the Air Force, and we moved, and most of the people that we lived around, they moved all the time too. And so they are moving. It didn't have anything to do with me. They're just moving. When I was moving, they were leaving, but they weren't leaving me. But they were, but it wasn't because there was something wrong with me. They just were moving. So if I can be more specific, I can say, well, in this case, I thought this, and I felt this. What does that mean about me? Maybe not much at all. But if I take it as this means something about me, then a big generality. So try to be more specific, right? If you think life is awful, what are you going to do with that? If you go, I'm sad, I'm angry about this, I'm afraid of this. Okay, those I can deal with. But big life is scary kind of thing, those are harder to deal with. So be careful of generalities. Oh man, we ran out of time again. Darn it. Okay, so I was going to give you this quiz. It's a cool quiz I created. It has these 7 questions, self-scoring quiz, and basically it's how to deal with our emotions. It's both educational and it's quantifiable, which is kind of cool. But we become aware, we accept, we identify. What was that? That was a sad. Was that anger? Was that fear? What was that? Okay, we could identify it and separate them. A lot of guys, especially, don't understand the difference between fear and anger. It just all comes out as anger, and that's not cool because it's not anger. That's wrong, and it's not helpful. Identification, expression, and release and replace. We actually carry negative emotions in our body. We can release them consciously, and then we can replace them with good, happier feelings and make ourselves feel better and feel less stressed. And our body goes, thank you. I don't want to carry all that crap around anymore. And then we can rejoice, which is celebrating that we are doing cool stuff. So take this quiz when you get a chance, if you would. Well, it's interesting. All right, I'm just going to jump down to the bottom. Sorry, guys, I ran out. I was only have 50 more slides. So you guys are welcome to look through this when you get a chance. There's some resources here in the back. This is a cool thing about what it feels like when you do have inner peace. I thought this was clever. You might take a look at that. Takeaways. Accept emotional responsibility. Your thoughts, your feelings are yours. They're yours. You created them. You can do something with them. You can manage them. You can learn to enjoy them. They're yours, but they're yours. Nobody made you feel this way, right? So you have to take that distinction. If you take responsibility for your thoughts and your feelings every single time, you can be powerful. You can do amazing things. You can create the life that you want to live. If you don't, in my opinion, again, if it's them that did it to you, you're giving up your power and control. You become a whiner, blamer, victim. You start heading down pretty quick. So to me, this is the key to this whole thing: is take responsibility for your thoughts and your feelings and your actions, because they're yours. They are. And the alternative is ugly. So accept responsibility. Live it, love it, whatever, or not. It's up to you, right? It's up to you. But know that you have choices. And thirdly, know that other people don't know this stuff. They don't know this stuff. Most people don't know this stuff. I've been doing these. I'm doing 2 or 3 of these workshops a week now, and because there's such demand, and some of them are counselors and therapists and professors and such, and they're like, oh, emotional intelligence, really? That's great. I can be in charge of you're like, yeah, you can. It's pretty cool. And so we're finding some beautiful stuff around emotional intelligence. And the people that don't know about it, they don't know that they don't know. They don't know. So they're not looking. So we need, if we now have some awareness, we need to share that. In my opinion, it's our responsibility. Actually, they can't know unless somebody shares it with them, and our parents didn't, and our schools didn't, and our work sure doesn't. So we got to do that. And so that's what we're doing with our nonprofit. And that's what I'm doing, sitting here right this minute in the middle of the night and teaching other people. So if you would please share with somebody else, each one teach one, EQ, we call it. So teach someone else. Here's a great quote, one of my favorites: with great power comes great responsibility. And that is true in this case. If anybody wants to tell me what movie that's from, it's one of my favorites. I watch a lot of movies and try and snag good things and bad things from movies. You get great stuff from them. So who said it? Who said that? Great power comes great responsibility. Anyway, all right. So here's some links for me. Happy to be friends with you. Join our nonprofit if you like to help out. We need to share as much as we can. We're getting EQ. It's called social emotional learning into schools everywhere. It's going really well because the schools parents, most people don't know that they don't know. Teachers and schools, they know that it's not that they don't know, they know what that is needed. They know that they don't have it. And they're just like, oh, please give us this information. We know the kids need to be more emotionally intelligent. We need to be more emotionally intelligent. We can. So how? But how do we work that in? And how? We don't have any money. We don't have any time. How do we do that? And we know it needs to happen, but so anyway, that's what our nonprofit's about, and it's going really, really well. So, but we need lots of help because there's an awful lot of schools and an awful lot of kids, and we'd like to get everybody. The big goal is 1 billion people know about EQ by 2039. And then the bigger goal is everybody, all the schools, everybody should know, like science, math, reading, EQ, social emotional learning should be in there with the basics of education. So I'm out of time. So I'm hoping you got something useful for this. If anybody wants to tell us about some takeaways you might have from this, that would be great. And I'll give the PowerPoint for your use. Do what you want with it. Okay, so what else?
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
It's a very wonderful session regarding emotional intelligence and the importance of emotional intelligence. So we just started with the global peace, and for that we need three different things. There is inner peace, interpersonal peace, and social peace. So there is I, we, and us. And talking about the inner peace, that is something which is not the goal, but it is a consequence. And it is nothing but control your emotions or self-control. Regarding EQ, being smarter with our thoughts and feelings. For that, we are talking about meta study and meta consciousness, cognitive and meta emotions. So you you under your feelings, and you under your thoughts, and you under your under you itself, and better life with the EQ. So what are the advantages of EQ that you have very well explained? Is better for thoughts, beliefs, and better for feelings, and better for decisions, actions, results, and overall better life. And so many other benefits, just like choice, freedom, power, personal power, and creativity, and intimacy, and feel alive. So many personal feelings are there, benefits are there. Moreover, we have 5 components, like self-awareness, responsible decision-making, then relationship skills, social awareness, as well as self-management for making a good EQ pattern. And a wonderful area that I'm very much interested is the 10 steps for making a wonderful EQ person. So that is, first is outside of us. That is events happen. That is something that is outside us. And inside of us means feelings and emotions, as well as thoughts and meanings of beliefs. And what is there inside of us means, again, it is optional. It is nothing but awareness. These are 2 secrets of EQ. Awareness and acceptance, and evaluation, and finally decision. And when for inside and outside of us, there is something for tackling our EQ. There is action, and be, do, and behaviors, and finally the life results. And we have another method for attention, EQ, for attention of EQ. There is what we do and how we do it and why we do it. There's a wonderful thoughts for that. And again, balance is the key. There is IQ plus EQ. That is nothing but the life, isn't it? And one more area, EQ is nothing but educate your mind and heart. So if you educate your mind and heart, your EQ will be far better. That's what it says. And again, EMFB, there is 4 solutions. Event, meaning, feeling, and behavior is something like thoughts, feelings, and behavior. And there is a chart for our analysis, and a general hashtag you are explained, purposeful positivity. So positivity is a better tool for better EQ. And avoid exaggerated enthusiasm, and exercise, optimum exercise is best for that. Again, one or 2 points, very important. Be careful of shoulds. Both you should and I should. And finally, be careful of generalities. All generalities are wrong. Finally, we have an awareness tool. There are some areas where we can find out EQ. One is the area how to find out EQ. So how to find out emotions and feelings. There is one is awareness, another is acceptance, there is identification, then expression, then release, replace, and rejoice. Which is your choice? That is the important area. And the takeaway is nothing but accept emotional responsibility and live EQ, learn, teach, and model EQ. And finally, share EQ. That is each teach the same EQ. And this is a wonderful class for this emotional quotient is concerned. It is really very good experience for us about this emotional intelligence. Thank you very much, sir. And once again, I congratulate you, and when I am thanking you for this Onam season or Onam day. You are here with us. And once again, thank you, sir.
Yes. Well, happy day for you. Thank you so much for that. That was a great summary. That was very well summarized. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'd like,
any questions? Later. Any questions you can ask? Any doubts you can ask? Yeah. Also, you can appreciate.
Can I ask one doubt?
Sure, sir.
Yes. Sir, I have one doubt. See, only the actions and behavior of other people or from the society makes emotional problems. You can see it, even the natural calamities also gives emotional this one. Suppose heavy rain is there or flood is there or something like that. So the national calamities also changes our emotions. So that also affects us, our peacefulness, isn't it?
If you let it. Yes, if you let it.
Have you got it what I say? Because our English is entirely different from your English. Our is Malayalam English. So, no. Can you follow, sir, what I told? You understood? The national calamity.
I think so. You're saying that. There's a lot of calamities outside of us. I'm saying that how it affects you is up to you.
So that is not under our control. But there what happens, we are under a problem. So that also affects our emotions, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It affects it, but it's still up to you. Yep. What is happening outside, we don't have very much control over, but how we deal with it and what we do with it inside of us, we do have a lot of control, I'm saying. I'd suggest, and it's not going to be necessarily happy. Like I said, some of the stuff that happens, if you just, if you look at the disease, the pandemic and the disease, and it doesn't affect you, that's not good. Probably. It makes us angry sometimes. It does affect us, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm not saying that we're supposed to not feel things at all and just make everything all peachy. And my wife calls it it's not all yippee skippy. It's not all. That's not what emotional intelligence is about. It's about being real. It's about that this does bring up feelings for me, and I am emotional about certain things, and that's okay because I don't judge my emotions. I can deal with them. I can accept them. I can be with them. I can actually feel fear, sadness, anger, the big three negatives I call them, and not be unhappy. It's kind of weird, but I still have the power. I still am in charge of me. I'm just feeling these things. I'm okay, but I'm having some feelings, and that's okay. You know what I mean? We can deal with them, and sometimes we cry, and sometimes we yell, sometimes I'm angry, sometimes that's okay too. And that's me, as long as I'm responsible for me, and then I can let go of some of that once I express it, sometimes, usually, if done well. So
Okay,
it
thank
affects
you,
us.
sir.
It affects us.
Okay,
It
thank
does,
you, sir.
but yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Vidyarabindu sir.
So, good evening, Mr. Pat Parcelan.
Hello.
I am Vidyarabindu. My name is a little complicated one, perhaps for you. You can read it. And I am from Kerala, Trivandrum, the capital city of Kerala. Now, practically, for your information, I am a critical metaphysicist. I do research in metaphysics, that too critical metaphysics. Now, as far as talk that I was fortunate enough to witness with you, I think that the whole Ashravarita Samskara, or the Samskara of Indian Samskara, Indian culture, tells the whole thing as you have elaborated here. If you want to be peaceful inside, you have to first of all look into yourself, introspection capacity. You will have to look into yourself and see who you are, first of all. Identify yourself with everything in this world. If you are going to be separate, or if you are going to be away from the reality of this society, reality of this nature, reality of what is going around you, you will be the utmost, you will be the important, and you will be the focus of suffering. If you want to get rid of sufferings, try to be one with everything. Whatever happens, in our vernacular language, our poets have said this. For the information of all the participants here, I first of all recite those words in our vernacular language, and then I will go to explain that in English, so that you will also get a gist of that meaning. Even though the whole hill is to shatter down, and it is to shatter upon you, mentally you will not be disturbed. The moment that mental stability is there, the mental ability to understand what you are, and you have that cleverness and the ability to identify with everything in this universe. If you understand that, nothing will disturb you. Nothing is going to make any kind of impact on you. The moment you have got that particular ability to see that you are one among the other creatures, other creations in this world, and identify with everything else, so that you will be at ease without any kind of friction. You will be able to live. You will be able to enjoy the peacefulness and success of life. That is what I mean. Thank you very much for hearing me, and thank you very much for giving me this occasion to hear. Thank you very much, Mr. Parcelan.
No problem. That's great. That's great explanation of emotional intelligence, actually. So it's beautiful. I 100% agree with you. Nicely put.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Sir, I have a doubt. Yes, please.
Okay, I'm Jacob. I just joined this meeting. Hello. I just joined this meeting quite late, so I don't know whether you covered this, but one thing that I would like to ask is that for kids, those who are joining at the age of junior high, how do you develop emotional intelligence for such age group? What are the practical steps that can be done to improve, to develop emotional intelligence?
Good question. That's one of my favorites too, is that especially middle schoolers around 5th, 6th, 7th grade, and they're deciding who they're going to be and what they're going to be in life and that sort of thing. So that's super important subject. First, in my opinion, is self-awareness. Again, we're back to the same. Step one was awareness. I don't know if you heard that. Awareness, acceptance, action. First is awareness. So if you can be aware of you first, that would be most helpful. Second is you set an example, set a role model, be a role model for what do you want them to look like? What do you want it to look like? What are you trying to get them to do? You do it. You do it first so they can see you, because kids are really good observers. They can watch things happen and they can feel what's happening, but they may not be very good at interpreting. They don't know what exactly is happening. So if you can say, if you can be strong and be powerful and be what you want them to be, and then tell them what you're doing, right? For example, we call it being intentional versus intuitive, which means say it. If you're planning something, if you're trying to be a certain way, then tell them that you're being a certain way. For example, with kids, they get upset when you try to give rules. Right? They try to, when you're given safety, that kind of thing, they're saying they don't like rules. But if you're intentional about it, you say, I'm telling you this because I care. I'm telling you this because I want the best for you. I'm telling you this, and I know that this is going to be uncomfortable for you, but I want you to do it anyway because I care about you and I want the best for you, kind of thing. If we can get across that we care about them, then they're much more open to learning. And that is, I don't know if you caught this at the beginning, I should say it over and over again. Emotional safety is one of the keys to this whole thing. If you can make it safe for them to feel, by you feeling, also by you setting an example, then it's doing magical things. Oh, and also we started this whole thing, if you didn't get it at the very beginning, the very first question I had was, what are you feeling? So if you can ask kids, what are you feeling? Not how are you feeling, because how is usually you get an answer of how do you feel physically, right? Oh, I feel okay, I'm sick or I'm not sick, that kind of thing. But that's not what you're asking. You're asking, what are you feeling? And that way you get a much better answer. And kids, you get awareness, you get acceptance, you get the identification, you get separation, that kind of stuff. And people can look inside and be aware of what's happening and accept it. And you accept that they're accepting it. That seems to work really, really well. So that's really super quick answer. I can talk about that all day long, but it's a very good question, Jacob. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt.
I hope
Sir,
that's helpful. Keep trying. They're worth it.
Okay, sir.
Go
Sir,
ahead.
just
Sorry.
a doubt, sir. So there are three components of EQ. One is thoughts, and another is feelings and actions. So is belief is there inside? Belief. What about belief?
Mm-hmm. Was that a question? I didn't hear the very end of it. I'm sorry.
Sir, there are three components of EQ. One is thought, and another is feeling, and another is action. So what about feeling?
Right.
Belief. What about belief?
Oh, they're thoughts. Beliefs are thoughts. Thought, feeling, action. Thought, meanings and are thoughts. I think, like I was saying, my example of the guy walking by and he just keep on walking. Well, I think they're leaving me. I think this means that I'm being rejected. I think that it plays on my childhood things about people leaving me. So I feel like I'm less than, and I think, all these yucky negative generalizations that are meanings that I put on it. It's just somebody walking by. It's just somebody walking by in real life. But those are things I thought as a kid, and I now think as an adult, sometimes subconsciously. And so those meanings, again, are up to me. They're up to me. I did them. I put them on there, and they affect all kinds of stuff. But I did it. So those are thoughts, and they become feelings real quickly. So, does that answer your question?
Okay. Thank you, sir. YOHANNAN, sir, please.
Sir?
Thank you very much, sir. You are here with us, the National Festival Onam. and we are really thankful to you.
Yay.
So
Ah.
the people are disturbed due to what other person are saying about me and what other person thinking about me. My action is right, but what other people is thinking about me. So here comes the question of EQ and how it is solved. Sir, again, you have told that we have the right to choose. Then choices such as happiness and success. So it is our choice to take it. A good thought, sir. A good thought, really. And for that, we have the positive thinking and positive thought. I think it is EQ. The way we have behaved to others with positive thought and positive intelligence, emotional intelligence, you will be safe and success. Sir, when you given pardon to the other person, then you are okay. You are peaceful. I think it is the emotional intelligence to solve problem peacefully. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Good summary. Yes. Solve problems peacefully. Yes. Not how they do it in Afghanistan. Yes, we're going to try it peacefully. Wow. Yes. Good points. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well played.
Jen sir, again.
No, Jyoti sir is ready.
Sir, ഞാൻ പറയട്ടെ
പറയൂ, sir.
ജയൻ സാർ പറഞ്ഞോ സാർ ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ
We are already connected.
very good morning sir, very good morning. Yes, you spoke very nicely about the EQ and you have started very well with a positive note, no, the inner peace, interpersonal peace and social peace, yeah, then ultimately leading to global peace. Yes, that is our ultimate aim, no? Everybody, individual as well as group and society. Thank you, sir. Then the inner peace, how do we create it? Not to allow other person or even, is it not, to control our emotions. Yes, inner peace is not a goal, it is a consequences. Yes, sir. We fully agree with you. Then respect of self and others. That is the judgmental view you have expressed. Acceptance does not mean approval. Yeah, we can accept, and it doesn't mean that we have to accept everything. Yes, good. Safety. Feeling matters. Very nice, sir. Very nice. Then ultimately, then learn to choose wisely with intelligence quotient. It all starts with our thought. Yes, sir. And you have, all generalities are wrong. That is also a wonderful.
That's a
Correct. Exactly, sir. Because we used to generalize everything, is it not? Yeah. Okay. So little few minutes I was away from your class, sorry. But till such time I was very happy and joyful. And thank you. Thank you. We are eagerly know more about these things from you. Thank you. All the very best. Good day, sir. Good day.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Well put. That's great. Excellent. So, like I said, I put my PowerPoint in the chat if you want to download it. And it's you know, there's a lot more slides. I didn't do even half of them, I don't think.
Sir, can you see this, sir? This is our Onam festival relates like this.
Yeah, I forwarded.
Oh,
I
nice.
forwarded morning.
Yes.
It's today. Oh, great.
This is the Onam
Nice.
meal.
Oh, making me hungry.
Yeah. You can take as a breakfast.
Oh.
This is we called as Maveli. This is the ruler.
Oh. Excellent.
And we have a very interesting game that is called Puligali.
Wow.
That is from near Jayanaburi sir's nearest place, Trishur.
That's great.
We need a big belly
Wow.
persons, big belly
Big belly.
to draw the pictures.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I
And
think
All right.
definitely
Thank you for sharing that.
we are welcoming you to Kerala in any right place, right time you can come, and we will celebrate differently. It's a wonderful place in there. We call it as God's own country.
Hmm.
So we are expecting more sessions from you.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Where are
Okay.
you?
I got no problem. I've got so much more. Let's do it. That's
Where
great.
are you based?
From
Uh,
California, USA.
California.
Yes, I
I'm in
can.
California. I was in India right before the pandemic. Right before I did a keynote speaking at Punjab University at Chandigarh and in Nepal at Kathmandu both. And it was great, fantastic, wonderful experience we had. My wife came with me, and we had a fantastic experience. So, and we went to Istanbul after that on the way home for a couple of days. Just wow, we were amazed. So we definitely want to come back as soon as we can. But
So
After
next
the,
time
after the
You know.
pandemic, we can visit to Kerala.
you should come to South India next time.
yeah, okay, yeah, I think that's a good idea. We're in North India. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Sabu sir, when
I
can
agree.
I view this recording? When will it be
Yeah,
available?
tomorrow.
Today itself, I will do. No problem. Today
Okay,
itself.
thank you.
So thank you very much, sir. Jen, sir, you give the facilitation.
Okay, sir. For the excellent
Happy to do it again.
energetic
Let's
session.
keep going.
We connected with the
Alright.
last 1 year.
Yeah.
And all the gratitudes to Corona. Yeah.
Right, Jay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you once again, Mr. Parthiasan, and thank you once again. Again, you are welcome to this platform. We are also doing self-awareness series programs, particularly on parenting and psychological tools. See transaction analysis, hypnosis, and Enneagram. So many tools we are using, particularly basically on parenting. And our Vijay Bindus are doing spiritual work. We are having some classes for spiritual awakeness also. So both these two type of life we are trying to combine together, and we are going for a successful life. And emotional intelligence, definitely it is a point. Thank you for your information and knowledge.
Yeah.
Anyway,
In our nonprofit, we're doing focusing on parents, teachers, and bosses, because they're the trickle down effect. So parents is wonderful. That's one of our main areas. So yay. And I know Jayan's working a lot with parents. So excellent.
And
so we are doing some
parenting, sir.
Where is the where is the nonprofit? Is there any website to connect with you?
Is there
EQ for peace.
EQ for peace?
It's on my picture.
സാറിന്റെ പേരിനോട് കൂടി ചേർത്ത് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട് EQ for peace.
Okay. Thank you.
And it's Aaron, you asked, can I share the PowerPoint? Yeah, I already did. It's just up look up in the chat. It's up a little bit higher.
I just forward, I can share.
Okay, good.
Okay, I'll can then.
Sir, you can say something about your EQ for peace also. You just talk about your EQ for peace. What is the organization? What you're doing for?
Okay, we're going for peace. Like I said, we're going for peace. And there's emotional intelligence been out for a while, and it's fantastic tools, skills, concepts, language. Emotional intelligence is the way to go. But most people are keeping it to emotional intelligence, which is good for you. That's good, and it's good for you, and it's good for your relationship. But what we're going for peace. We're trying to work with emotional intelligent people who are already going for emotional intelligence. We're saying bring it to peace. And the people that are already going for peace, we're saying use emotional intelligence to get there. and people are agreeing that that's how you get there. And so we're trying to get emotional intelligence into schools and work and homes everywhere. We are in the United States and Asia to start with. And so we're working with Jayan and others in India and Nepal and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. That's why I was there. And most of my communication is with India. It turns out. That's why I get up early. And we're doing a film. We've got assessments. We have curriculum. We are doing teacher training. In Nepal, they got it approved in all public schools. We have curriculum. We'll give out curriculum, no charge. And in Nepal, like I said, it was in all public schools. So all they need is some training and just a little tiny bit of money to get the books to the students and to the teachers and train the teachers. And then they're welcome to have a whole emotional intelligence class. So we're doing clubs. Sometimes it's hard to add a whole class on emotional intelligence into a school. And so what they're doing with the kids is to have a club, an after-school club, and emotions can be fantastic. It can be the most powerful thing. If it's done wrong, it's really, and I don't want to talk about it, but if it's done well, wow, it's really that can be a life changer for the kids. So we're encouraging that. And we have a new ambassador, EQ for Peace ambassador program, which is about a lot of people like you guys understand the concept of emotional intelligence, how important it is, and are already trying to get it into schools or already have no teachers. And we're saying we can help you do that. So as a member of EQ for Peace, we can help you help them. You can help spread the word about emotional intelligence. We got to get to everybody. So we can't do it by ourselves. It's a bump thing kind of thing. So I don't know. That's real quick.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
What we're doing.
For the ambassador purpose, my name is recommended. For the ambassador purpose, my name is selected.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jayan. Yes, Jayan's one of them. We just started it last week, and so yay! Yeah, one of the first ones. Second, I think you're Jayan. You're second.
Yes.
And the first one is a professor in India also. So.
From
No,
Delhi.
and another fellow in Africa. Now Africa, they're getting into it, and it's beautiful. They're social workers, counselors, therapists, psychology departments are going, yeah, we got to teach this stuff. We have to teach this stuff. And I'm like, yes, we do. And here's everything we're trying to help them help everybody else. So we're providing resources as best we can.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the excellent and energetic session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Energetic, I got.
Yes.
All right. All right,
Yeah.
you guys, thank you for having me. If you want me back again, let me know. Let Jayan know, and we'll get this going again. And happy to talk to you guys. And I appreciate the questions. I appreciate your summaries of it. It sounds like you got it. And love to keep talking to you guys. So spread the word, please. Emotional intelligence matters. Emotions matter.
And I will send this YouTube link also. Today's recording link will be able to be forwarded to you.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. And
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, all right.
Thank you very much
Take care.
for the wonderful session that you have given us. And we are really putting again into a bottle from where we must suck out the nectar of our life's peacefulness. And thank you very much for that particular technique that you have explained to us. Thank you very much.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay, thank you and good
Okay.
night. See you.
Have a good day, sir.
നാളത്തെ ദിവസം ജയൻ സാറിന്റെ ക്ലാസ് ആണ് parenting the parent. സാർ എന്താ പറയും?
Parenting the parents.
Yes, parenting the
It's for,
parent.
it's for parents, അല്ലേ? Parentsന് വേണ്ടിയാ.
Parenting the parents. ആർക്കാണെങ്കിൽ കുട്ടികൾക്കും വരാം. കുട്ടികൾ നാളത്തെ പാരന്റ്സ് ആണ്.
അച്ഛന്മാര് ശരിയാകുന്നെങ്കിൽ കുട്ടികൾക്കും വരാം അല്ലേ?
അതെ.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, same time.
Okay, thank you. അപ്പൊ ജയൻ സാർ വളരെ നന്ദി കേട്ടോ, ഇതുപോലെ ഒരു ഇന്റർനാഷണൽ
ഒരു
സ്പീക്കർ.
സെക്കൻഡ് ജയൻ സാറേ, സാറിനെ എന്താ സെലക്ട് ചെയ്തു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത്?
എന്നെ അതിന്റെ ബ്രാൻഡ് അംബാസിഡർ ആയിട്ട് സെലക്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്.
ഏതിന്റെ?
EQ for Peace.
EQ for Peace.
അതിന്റെ ബേസ് എവിടെയാണ്? അതിന്റെ ബേസ് എവിടെയാണ്?
കാലിഫോർണിയ.
ഇതിന്റെ ആളാണ് നീ വന്നത്, അദ്ദേഹമാണ് ഇതിന്റെ ആള്.
അത് ശരി. ഓക്കെ.
അപ്പം ഇവിടെ നാട്ടില് ഇത് എന്താണ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഇവര് ചെയ്യുന്ന പരിപാടി എന്താണ്?
ഞാനിപ്പോ അവരായിട്ട് അസോസിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് സാറിന്റെ സെഷൻ ഒരുപാട് പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിൽ ചെയ്യിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ.
അവയർനെസ് തന്നെയാണ് അദ്ദേഹം ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. EQ-നെ കുറിച്ച് കൂടുതൽ അവയർനെസ്
ആക്കാൻ. അപ്പോ ഏകദേശം ഒരു വർഷമായിട്ട് സാറായിട്ട് ഞാൻ കണക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ കഴിഞ്ഞ പ്രാവശ്യം എനിക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ ഓഫർ വന്നു, സ്വീകരിക്കാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു. ഞാൻ വളരെ സന്തോഷത്തോടെ സ്വീകരിക്കണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു.
താങ്ക് യു, വളരെ നന്നായി.
കാരണം അവരുടെ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിലും അവരുടെ ഗ്രൂപ്പിലൊക്കെ എനിക്കറിയാം, ഞങ്ങൾ മീറ്റിംഗ് ഉണ്ടാവാറുണ്ട്.
അപ്പോ സാറേ വേറൊരു വേൾഡ് വൈഡ് ഒരു കൺവേർജൻ കൾച്ചർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഒരു അസോസിയേഷൻ വേൾഡ് വൈഡ് ആണ്. അതും അവിടെയും ഗ്ലോബൽ പീസ് ആണ് അവരും ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്.
പിന്നെ ഒരു 6 സെക്കൻഡ്സ് ഉണ്ട്. 6 സെക്കൻഡ് അത് നമുക്ക് ഫീസ് ഉണ്ട്. $395 ഒക്കെ വരും അതിന്റെ കോഴ്സിന്. $500 നമ്മളെ നോക്കുമ്പോ കൺവേർട്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ
പല മീറ്റിംഗും കണ്ടക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. കഴിഞ്ഞ ആഴ്ച ഒന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ഞാൻ എന്നെ വിളിച്ചിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ വന്നിട്ട് ഞാനും കയറിയിരുന്നു. നോക്കുമ്പോൾ ഇഷ്ടംപോലെ ആളാണ്, 200 ചില്ലാൻ ആളുകള്, എന്താ പറയാ, ഗ്ലോബലി എല്ലാ സ്ഥലത്തു നിന്നുള്ളവര്. പക്ഷെ ഭയങ്കര ഒരു ബോണ്ടിങ് ഫീൽ ചെയ്തു. അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ അതേ സ്റ്റൈൽ തന്നെയാണ് ഏകദേശം എല്ലാവരും പലരും.
തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ഇതുപോലത്തെ ക്ലാസ്സുകളൊക്കെ വരട്ടെ. അപ്പൊ അവർക്ക് ഇതുപോലെ അവിടെ നിന്നൊക്കെ ഒത്തിരി ഹെൽപ്പുകൾ കിട്ടും. ഒത്തിരിയും ഇവരൊക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെ വരുമെന്ന് കേൾക്കുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഒരു സന്തോഷം.
പിന്നെ പോയിന്റ്സ് കിട്ടും സാർ.
അല്ല, എന്നോട് കുറെ ദിവസമായി പറയുന്നു ഈ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിൽ ക്ലാസ് എടുക്കണമെന്ന്. പക്ഷെ സാറും കുറച്ച് തിരക്കിലായി പോയോണ്ടാണ് 2 ആഴ്ച മുമ്പ് തീരുമാനിച്ചതാണ് ഇന്നൊക്കെ ഡേറ്റ്. അപ്പൊ ഓണമായിട്ട് ഒരു ഓണസമ്മാനം ആയിക്കോട്ടെ വെച്ചു, ഒരു പുതുമ ആയിക്കോട്ടെ വെച്ചു.
നമുക്കിപ്പോ സൺഡേ സാറ്റർഡേ മാത്രമേ ഫ്രീ ഉള്ളൂ. നമ്മളിപ്പോ അത് ഫ്രീ ആക്കിയിട്ട് ബാക്കി എല്ലാ ദിവസവും നമുക്ക് ഓരോ ക്ലാസ്സുകളുണ്ട്.
അടുത്ത ആഴ്ച ഇതുപോലെ മദ്രാസ് എന്നൊരു സ്പീക്കറെ കൊണ്ടുവരാനുള്ള പ്ലാനിലാണ് അടുത്ത സാറ്റർഡേ.
ഇതുപോലെ വൈഡ് വെറൈറ്റി ഓഫ് ടോപ്പിക്സ് ആകുമ്പോഴാണ് വളരെ രസകരമാകുന്നത്, ഒരു വിരസത ഇല്ലാതെ.
അതേപോലെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് പേശുന്ന ആളും വേണം സാർ. എന്താ പറയുക, നമുക്ക് ഒന്ന് ഇന്ററാക്ട് ചെയ്യാനൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് റെയർ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി അല്ലേ ഇതൊക്കെ, ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് സംസാരിക്കാന്നുള്ള ഇല്ലേ ഉലകനാൻ സാർ?
പഠിക്കാൻ ഒരു അവസരം വേണ്ടേ അല്ലേ?
ഒന്നിത് പ്രയോഗിക്കാൻ ഒരു അവസരം കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട് സാർ. ഇവരോടൊക്കെ പിന്നെ നമുക്ക്
അതെ, ശരിക്കും തുരുമ്പായി പോയി. പറയാൻ അറിയാവോന്ന് പോലും അറിയത്തില്ല.
അതെ, അതുകൊണ്ടാ കണ്ണടച്ചങ്ങ് പറയുന്നത്.
റെക്കോർഡിംഗ് സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ചെയ്യട്ടെ.
ഓക്കെ.
ഓക്കെ.